school bullies ripped the towel off a girl learning to swim. 30 minutes later, a black girl defeated them in front of the entire school on BUP stories. It was Monday morning at Lincoln Middle School, tucked in the heart of Charleston, South Carolina. Dogwood trees were beginning to bloom, the hallways hummed with chatter, and the scent of floor polish still lingered faintly from the weekend cleaning crew. But for Samantha Green, the day felt like walking into a storm. Swim class, first one of the semester. Samantha, 13, had been dreading it since she saw the notice on the gym bulletin board last week. It wasn't the swimming that worried her. She'd learned to swim years ago in her grandmother's backyard pool in Savannah. Her late father, gentle, patient, full of jokes, taught her everything she knew about staying afloat, flipping, breathing deep. But he had passed 2 years ago, and ever since, Samantha hadn't touched the water. What truly scared her now wasn't drowning. It was exposure. She wasn't thin. She knew that. She had curves that came early, thighs that touched and arms she always tried to keep covered. In school hallways, she shrunk her shoulders to take up less space. She kept her head down, her steps quiet. She was a white girl with pale skin and hair the color of old straw tied into a low hurried ponytail. New to Lincoln Middle, she'd arrived only 3 weeks ago. Still no real friends, but she already had enemies. 3 of them to be exact. Brady Miller, Tanner Hull, and Jace Cunningham. 8th grade royalty, sons of county police officers, coaches, and city contractors. Loud, athletic, and entitled, they filled lockers with insults, dominated gym class, and controlled the attention of the other boys with ease. They didn't need a reason to bully someone. They just needed a target. That morning, Samantha held her towel tightly against her body as she exited the girls' locker room and stepped into the humid air of the pool deck. She wore a navy blue one-piece, plain, modest, a little too snug in places she hated. She walked quickly, hoping to reach the benches before anyone looked too closely. But she wasn't fast enough. The boys were waiting. Standing near the lifeguard chair, Brady elbowed Jace, nodding toward her. "Look who showed up," he said loud enough for others to hear. Ready for the tsunami? Before Samantha could react, it happened. Brady lunged forward and with a jerk yanked the towel off her shoulders. Samantha gasped, arms flying to cover herself. She froze in place, standing there in her swimsuit, bare and vulnerable. Laughter exploded from the trio. "Wah!" Tanner shouted, clutching his chest. "Hope the lifeguards are ready. This wave might flood the gym. Somebody call FEMA." Jace howled. "We've got a body mass emergency." The room echoed with their laughter. A few students standing nearby giggled nervously. Some looked away. Most said nothing. Silence wrapped the pool in shame. Samantha, cheeks burning, stood there paralyzed. Her legs wanted to move, but her mind couldn't tell them how. Her fingers dug into her sides. All she wanted was to disappear. The towel now dangled from Brady's hand like a trophy. "You want it back," he taunted. "Got to earn it, blimp." The taunts were interrupted, not by a teacher, not by a lifeguard, but by a voice calm and steady. "Give it back." Every head turned. Standing just outside the locker room entrance was Kaya Thompson. She was tall for her age, 13 like Samantha, but with the quiet grace of someone who didn't need attention to command respect. Her skin glowed a rich brown under the overhead lights. Her swim cap was already on, goggles in hand. Her face was unreadable, but her eyes were locked on Brady like laser sights. Brady blinked. "Excuse me?" "I said," Kaya repeated. "Give her towel back." Jace laughed. "What? You her bodyguard now?" "No," Ka said. She took a few steps forward, her voice still even. "But I've seen enough cowards for one morning." The words landed like a slap. Brady's smirk faltered. He squared his shoulders. "Why don't you mind your own business?" "I am," Kaya replied. "Because if someone thinks this is acceptable at my school, then it is my business." A small group of students had begun to gather now, watching. Some whispered, others just stared. Coach Lombardi, the swim instructor, finally emerged from the office, clipboard in hand, slightly confused by the tension in the air. "What's going on?" she asked, eyes scanning the students. "Nothing," Brady said quickly, tossing the towel on the bench. "Just having fun." Kaya picked it up and walked it over to Samantha, handing it to her with a nod. "Thank you," Samantha whispered, her voice breaking. Kaya turned back to the boys. "Let's race," she said. The room paused. Brady raised an eyebrow. "What? You think you're fast?" Ka asked. "Prove it." "1-on-1. You pick the stroke." "Any distance right here, right now." Tanner snorted in disbelief. "You're challenging Brady Miller?" Tanner said incredulous. "You got a death wish?" "Just tired of watching people act tough while picking on girls half their size." Coach Lombardi blinked. "Is this serious?" Kaya turned to her. "We've got 25 minutes left in class. Let the pool decide." Brady shrugged. "Fine, you're on." Students rushed to the bleachers. Word traveled fast. Phones were out. Coach set her clipboard down. 50-meter freestyle, she announced. Both swimmers on deck. Brady climbed the block with exaggerated bravado, stretching, rolling his shoulders. "Don't cry when you lose, princess." Ka didn't answer. She climbed onto her platform, crouched low, goggles in place. Her back was straight, her arms steady. Across the pool, Samantha clutched her towel, trembling. But for the first time in days, she wasn't trembling from fear. She was waiting from BUP stories. Brady Miller rolled his neck and flexed his fingers as he adjusted his Apple Watch Ultra 2, glancing at the display like he was checking mission-critical data. The custom Nike band wrapped tightly around his wrist, water-resistant and gleaming in the fluorescent light. He made a show of setting the timer like a pro, ignoring the tension humming through the room. He was used to being the best, or at least convincing everyone he was. His swim shorts were the latest Speedo Fast Skin, graphite gray with red trim, clearly brand new, and likely bought just for bragging rights. As he stepped to the edge of the starting block, he shot one last smirk at Kaya as if daring her to second-guess her challenge. Kaya stood quietly on her own block. No flashy tech, no gadgets. Her gear was simple: black competition suit, tear goggles with mirrored lenses, and a cap that bore only her first name in hand-stitched white letters. She wasn't flexing. She didn't need to. Every inch of her posture said, "This is not a game." Coach Lombardi raised her whistle. 50m freestyle. When I blow the whistle, you go. Ready positions. The entire pool room hushed on the bleachers. Phones tilted upward. At least 4 students were recording, one boy whispered. Bet this ends up on TikTok before 5th period. In the front row, Jace held up his iPhone 15 Pro Max in landscape mode, whispering to Tanner, "If she belly flops, I'm posting it in slow-mo." Samantha sat further back, her towel still clutched tight around her middle. Her face was pale, but her eyes tracked Kaya's every movement. Something inside her was changing. Her shame slowly evaporating, replaced by something else. Ah! The whistle pierced the air. Brady launched forward with a splash that sent ripples across 3 lanes. His form was powerful, but heavy, his strokes aggressive. He kicked hard, churning water behind him like a speedboat. The muscles in his arms working double time to keep up appearances. His breathing was fast, loud, teeth clenched in concentration. Kaya hit the water half a second later, but the difference in style was immediate. She glided. Each stroke was measured, efficient. Her arms sliced cleanly, her legs steady and smooth. She didn't fight the water. She used it. In that moment, she wasn't swimming against Brady. She was dancing with the current. By the 20m mark, Brady had the lead, but just barely. Cheers rang out for both. Some called his name, others held their breath. He powered harder, pushing past his usual rhythm, but at 30m, he began to lose speed. Ka didn't. Her pace was constant, her flip turned flawless. She emerged from the underwater tumble like a blade, gaining ground with every pull. Brady felt her near him. His eyes flicked to the side and panic kicked in. He flailed a stroke. It cost him half a body length. The last 10m were a blur. 2 bodies racing the silence. Then the smack of hands on wall tiles. The timer beeped. Coach checked her stopwatch. Kaya 28.2, Brady 31.7. The pool room froze, then gasps, murmurs. Someone said, "No way." Another said, "She just smoked him." Jace's phone dropped slightly as he blinked. Samantha exhaled loudly, her heart thudding in disbelief. Brady hung on the edge of the pool, breathing hard. He didn't move for a long second. His chest heaved, not just from the effort, but from the disbelief crawling across his face. His jaw clenched, then he slapped the water. "You jumped early," he growled. "That wasn't a fair start." Coach Lombardi shook her head. "I was watching both blocks. It was clean." "You twitched," he hissed at Kaya, who was calmly pulling herself out of the water. "I won," she said, standing upright, drops of water tracing her arms. "Own it." Brady stormed past her, yanking his towel from Tanner's outstretched hand. "Whatever. This was a fluke." "Yeah, but the crowd didn't think so." Clusters of students were already talking, some laughing, others watching Kaya like they were seeing her for the first time. Her calm confidence radiated in a way no speech ever could. As coach called for the next group, Kaya walked back to the bench, picked up her gym bag, and without a word handed Samantha a spare towel, one with a thick cotton weave and a small embroidered KT near the edge. Samantha stared at it. You carry an extra?" "Always," Kaya replied not unkindly. "You never know who's going to need it." Samantha hesitated. "Thank you." Her voice cracked again, but this time with gratitude. "You didn't have to do that. You didn't even know me." Ka met her gaze. "I knew enough." Across the pool, Tanner was scrolling through video footage on his phone. "Bro, it's already got 600 views on Snap." Jace leaned over. "She's going to be a meme. This is insane." But they didn't sound amused anymore. They sounded nervous from BUP stories. By lunch, the video had been posted in multiple group chats and a private school subreddit. Caption: Brady gets busted by the quiet girl. Someone added a gif of Kaya's flip turn with fire emojis. Another edited in the words, "She came to swim. You came to sink." In the cafeteria, Brady sat with his arms crossed, AirPods Pro in his ears, but no music playing. Every laugh across the room made him flinch slightly. For once, his friends didn't rally around him, not even Jace, not even Tanner. They were busy scrolling their screens, pretending not to see the replays. On the other side of the room, Kaya sat at a small table with Samantha. They shared a tray of fries and laughed quietly as Kaya showed her something on her Galaxy Z Flip 5. The holographic case glittering under the lights. It wasn't flashy, just real. "You ever swim on a team?" Samantha asked. "Used to in Atlanta," Ka said, dipping a fry in ketchup. "Had to quit when we moved here. But once you learn to move through the water, right, it stays in your bones." "I think I want to learn," Samantha said. "Really learn?" Ka smiled. Not boastful, just warm. "Then let's get to work." As the lunch bell rang and students filed out, whispers followed Kaya now, but they weren't whispers of doubt. They were of respect. The girl who had stood silent for weeks had just shifted the gravity of the school without raising her voice, without asking for attention, and without waiting for permission. And this time, no one would pull her towel again. The days that followed were different, almost eerily so. For the first time since Samantha had transferred to Lincoln Middle School, she didn't feel invisible or worse, ridiculed. When she walked down the hallway on Tuesday morning, backpack snug, shoulders straighter than usual, heads actually turned for a different reason. A few kids nodded at her. One girl even whispered, "You were so brave," before disappearing into a classroom. Brave wasn't a word Samantha had ever associated with herself. Not until now. Ka, meanwhile, walked with the same unshaken calm she always had, except now the silence around her was no longer loaded with disinterest. It was reverent. Kids gave her space, but this time out of quiet respect, not avoidance. Even teachers seemed to regard her differently, one even stopping to ask if she'd consider joining the school's swim team for the upcoming district qualifiers. Ka had only shrugged and said, "I'll think about it." But her eyes told another story. She was already thinking 5 steps ahead. During gym, Coach Lombardi pulled both girls aside, clipboard in hand, the scent of chlorine still clinging to her whistle. "The school board wants to talk to you too," she said. "They saw the video. They're impressed. Honestly, I am too." "That was good form, Ka. Damn good." The word slipped out before she caught herself. Ka just smiled. Thanks, coach. And Samantha. The coach added, I know what happened that morning. I should have seen it. Should have stopped it. Samantha didn't say anything for a moment, then nodded slowly. I think it's being handled. The truth was things were being handled, but not through detentions or parent calls. It was more subtle than that. Social consequences had a way of burning deeper than administrative punishment. Brady, once the loudest voice in any room, had gone nearly silent. He still walked the halls, still sat with Jace and Tanner, but the dynamic had shifted. Whispers followed him now, not because he was admired, but because everyone had seen him lose more than a race. He lost face. Rumors swirled that his dad had made calls, tried to get the video taken down. Too late. It was everywhere on TikTok, Reddit, even Instagram Reels with a dramatic overlay of the Rocky theme. The most viral edit showed Kaya diving in slow motion, freeze framing as the words "Grace Under Fire" appeared in gold lettering. One user had commented, "This girl's got Olympic energy. Give her the torch." Another had written, "That towel wasn't the only thing dropped." Brady's ego hit the floor, too. Samantha read every comment with wide eyes, stunned that her moment of humiliation had become a chapter in someone else's inspiration. By Thursday, a student-led assembly was announced, organized in part by the student council, but clearly pushed by faculty trying to pivot from scandal to message. The auditorium was packed. Teachers, students, even a few parents sat waiting under dimmed lights. A banner behind the podium read, "Respect, Resilience, and Responsibility." Principal Dawson, a broad-shouldered man with a voice like a Sunday sermon, welcomed everyone with a grave tone. He thanked Kaya and Samantha by name. Then he invited them to the stage. Samantha hesitated behind the curtain, gripping the hem of her sleeve. Kaya touched her arm lightly. "You okay?" "I've never spoken in front of this many people," Samantha whispered. Kaya's voice was calm. "You already spoke, Sam. That day at the pool. You spoke when you stood your ground. Now you just get to add words to it." Samantha breathed in slowly, then nodded. They stepped onto the stage together. A hush fell over the crowd. Phones rose. Lights blinked. Principal Dawson handed Samantha the mic first. Her hand trembled slightly as she adjusted the height. Hi," she began, her voice wavering. "Some of you saw what happened in swim class. Some of you saw more than I wanted anyone to ever see." Nervous laughter rippled through the audience. She took a breath. But someone stepped up. Not a teacher, not a lifeguard, just someone who decided it wasn't okay. And because she did, I learned something, that silence doesn't protect you. It just traps you. And kindness isn't weakness. It's a decision to do the hard thing when it would be easier to look away. She paused. "I'm not ashamed anymore. I'm proud of who I am and of who stood with me." She turned slightly, handing the mic to Kaya. Kaya didn't shift her weight, didn't fiddle with the mic. She looked out steady. "I didn't step up because I wanted attention," she began. "I stepped up because I've been there. When people humiliate you, you feel small, powerless. But no one should feel that way in a school, especially not because of what they look like or what they wear or what they weigh. She glanced toward Brady's side of the auditorium. We all mess up. What matters is what you do after that. The room was still. You could hear a phone vibrate in someone's bag. Kaya looked back to the crowd. That's all. The applause didn't erupt. It built. Slow at first. Claps scattered like raindrops, then growing into a downpour of standing ovation. Teachers stood. Students cheered. Even Principal Dawson clapped, eyes glinting with something close to pride from BUP stories. By Friday, everything had changed. The swim coach formally invited Kaya to represent Lincoln at the district meet. Samantha asked to be team assistant. They trained together in the mornings. Samantha practiced laps, breathing patterns, flip turns. Kaya taught her drills, timed her, encouraged her. In the locker room, girls who once giggled behind Samantha's back now asked her about her stroke technique, her favorite goggles, even what playlists she listened to while training. She finally admitted it was mostly Taylor Swift and a little bit of SZA. Ka, meanwhile, remained steady. The attention didn't sway her. She still sat near the window in English, still carried her Kindle instead of a phone in the halls. But there was a quiet confidence in how she carried her bag now, how she spoke to teachers, how she didn't flinch under stares. At home, Samantha and her mother sat together at the dinner table. Her mother had seen the video. She hadn't said much when she first watched it, just stared, then quietly wiped away a tear. That night, she reached across the table, took Samantha's hand, and said, "I've never been prouder." Samantha's throat tightened, but she managed to smile. Me neither. And she didn't say anything to her parents right away. She didn't need to. Her mother, a nurse, left sticky notes on the fridge with quiet affirmations. You stood up. That matters. Your strength is in your stillness. We see you. Her father, a carpenter, simply built a wooden plaque for her bedroom wall. It said, "Let them underestimate you. That's where your fire comes from." A week later, the final swim meet arrived. Kaya swam anchor. Samantha cheered from the sidelines, stopwatch in hand, clipboard on her knee. When Ka dove in, the pool hushed again. Not out of surprise this time, but reverence. When she touched the wall first in her heat, the crowd rose, and in that moment, neither girl was the same as they'd been 30 minutes after the towel was pulled away. They were stronger, and the school,